we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means, on infiltration instead of invasion, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. There is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it.
All right, welcome to episode 72 of the Abuse Hour. It is I, your host, Coffee Long, coming to you unsupervised, unmedicated, and an unchecked threat to society. I am once again rolling hard in the Mobile Doomsday studio. This is round 2 trying to record episode 72. I recorded once before, man, and then I got wrapped up with something. Had to walk inside, walk back out, fucked up my audio stuff, and ended up having to finish the episode on AirPods, and it sounded like I was talking to you from like the inside of a beer can. So I was like, you know what, fuck that, man. The episode wasn't that good anyway, so I just said, you know what, let's just leave it, and we'll reboot and retry and re-see what we can redo. But so here we all, and I thought today somebody had posted in the chat asking about some tips, some thoughts, some ideas for working on the road, not like, you know, in construction, like there's a road outside and you're working on it, but I mean, you know, maybe I don't fucking know, but I mean working, traveling for work, because that's something I've done more than a little bit. So got any tips? Yes, I do. Tips I have. I figured we'd talk about that, and we could talk about some other stuff. I wanted to talk about a conversation I had with a dude up in Maine, a dude that I had on a little while back, and it was the guy brought up some good points, man. So I want to get into that a little bit, and like some ideas about our thing, about the nature of our thing, about the nature of being involved with it, about what's kind of incumbent upon you, and maybe some approaches to generating some positive movement that, I don't know, how do you say? Maybe just kind of a different perspective for getting shit done. But first then, life on the road. And I have traveled a lot for work while I was still on active duty. Kind of the nature of our gig was that you would go on training trips, and you'd basically go to facilities, different places all over the country, and you'd train different skill sets. And then you would deploy overseas. So in that sense, I mean, going overseas is like a lot of times, you know, like before the war kicked off, there was a lot of exercises, and even now, as some stuff is winding down, there's different exercises that you'll get put on. So you're spending a lot of time in hotels, a lot of time in airports, a lot of this kind of thing. Early on, man, it used to be the deal where we would fly military aircraft everywhere, and that was like, some dudes bitched about it. I don't know what those dudes were thinking. I only ever met like 1 or 2 guys that complained about it, and I think the people that pitched it the hardest were people that were like, they're in line for some kind of senior officer spot, and they can talk about what kind of money they saved or whatever the hell, because it was a pain in the balls. Like, I was there to do both versions of this shit. And I'll tell you this, man, trying to fly weapons and crypto or radios or any kind of classified shit is the most ungodly pain in the ass on commercial airlines. So what I'm getting at here is, like, you could fly, like, you know the deal, like if you go hunting or some shit, you're going to go visit your cousin or whatever, you're going to go deer hunting or whatever, you could put your rifle in a Pelican case and go to the airport, you just crack it open for them, show them what it is, they tag it out, lock it up, and off you go. It's generally not a pain in the ass. The few times I've done that civilian, most of the time, these clowns have like bunny ears, oh, lost it, it got put on another flight or some kind of shit. Like, and for my money, I don't know what the hell's going on. Like, they want to monkey around with it and see if there's some kind of way that somebody could lose it permanently, or there's some kind of way we can deprive you of ownership of this thing. You know, I have a hard time believing that, like, oh, it got lost, we'll have to drop it off to you. I have a real hard time believing that it's just a repeated coincidence. Anyway, when you fly, like, as a crew, you know, with the military, and you're, you know, bunny ears on orders, then they take, what you do is you take all your weapons and you'll have them in, you know, like Pelican cases, but then they'll put them in one of these big cargo kind of bin things, like the shit that they put the luggage in, like you'll have your own just for that, and they'll put that shit in there, but now you have to assign a watch to it. So the stuff is never by itself. So like your weapons and your radios or anything that's got, like, especially anything that's got crypto uploaded to it, like you'll have to have that shit with eyes on all the time. It's just the way that business is done. And it sucks ass because, like, as a new guy, you're going to get stuck with a lot of crummy gigs anyways. And having like the weapons watch or the radio watch or the pallet watch, this is like, it's a drag, dude. And I did it a long time ago because I was a new guy a long time ago, but it's like, this sucks. And a lot of times what ended up happening was, like, you get to the airport, you'd either get there just ridiculously early, or you'd have to box up all the weapons, and then a gaggle of new guys would go over to the airport with like a box truck, and you unass this whole truck, get the shit into the bins, leave a guy there, and he's going to be the weapons watch. And maybe he gets traded out, dude. If it's like an early morning flight, they'll just leave that one guy there. Like, you're it, dickhead. You know, it's either a new guy or a guy that fucked up. You know, like a guy got fucked up and couldn't show up on time, or whatever, you know, fucked up a rental vehicle or did something stupid, and he'll get stuck with the weapons watch. But, you know, a guy will just be stuck there like, hey man, bring something to read, bring something to listen to, bring some snacks. You're just gonna fucking sit there, and you just sit there in the fucking storage area at whatever airport, and you sleep on the fucking ground, and like the people working there will walk by and they'll just be like, hey, what's up? And you're like, nothing. And they kind of know the deal. It's a trip what different people in different industries are used to. But you would just sit there like a fucking sucker, and then the next day the rest of the crew would show up, get on the plane, fly out. Now there's your dumbass again, hustling out of the plane to go wait and watch the shit get unloaded. Terrific, good times. But when I started doing smaller, like onesie twosie, like more classified shit, like sometimes you'd have to go with like not weapons or radios, but other shit that's like classified, and they've got this deal, and it's a trip because, you know, most TSA people are basically retarded. That's for my money. But when you would go there and you'd have like a classified courier kind of a deal, you'd have like a letter and all this documentation that, like, yeah, I'm a courier, this is classified shit, it's secret shit, and you can't fucking look at it. And sometimes it would be like, yeah, you could look at the package, you can feel the package, you can't open the package, you can't run it through the x-ray, you got to just, you know, leave it the fuck alone, and like, trust me, jerk off, just like get out of the way. And it's a trip. They're good with it. They're like, okay, here you go, and they just like walk you on through. But it sucked, dude. And all the time that we were flying military aircraft, it was the shit. Like, it would take, because sometimes you'd be flying like a prop airplane. You're flying in like a C-130, and you get to the airstrip, and like you get on there, and like, you know, this is going to be like a 7-hour trip that could be like 2 or 3 hours in like a proper jet or whatever. But it was so much cooler, man, because commercial air, like, you get there and you sit at the fucking airport like a jackass. You got all these clowns running around, and I'll get to the air travel thing more in a second. But you would sit there for all this bullshit, and then you finally get on, and sometimes there's fuck-ups and mistakes and delays and this thing, or some fucking space waitress didn't show up to work, and, oh, we need a minimum personnel to fly this fucking aircraft, and, you know, like, we can't get from here to there without Roshonda, you know, spilling fucking coffee on somebody. So it was just a dick drag. But you would get to the airstrip, like, most places, you could, like, you'd pull right up, drop the boys off at the airstrip, go get rid of the fucking rental car or whatever, get back there, and you just hang out there. And when the dudes are ready, they're like, all right, get on, and you go get on. And our deal was like, it was a trip when you're a new guy and you don't know shit. You just sit there like a fucking jerk, and you're like, meh, like, you just sit there and ride this fucking airplane for 8 hours. You're like, this fucking sucks. But when you're older and you know how the shit works, dudes will bring like ground pads or hammocks, and you get on there and like plane takes off and you're like, yeah, I'm up and out. And you get your hammock and you go to the back and you hang this fucking hammock up, like just string it up, because there's all kinds of shit inside an aircraft to like hook shit to. And you just hop in this fucking thing. You got like your big warmie on and like you just crash, dude. And like, voop, voop. And it's like, we called it the time machine, because you get in there and you're just like, voop, voop. And now you're awake and you're somewhere else. This is the fucking deal, man. And some places, like if you were somewhere cool, like if you were at some, like you were on some cool exercise in some cool place, like you could go to the aircraft and they'll be like, oh yeah, the fucking Huckleberry grinder is broke. We got to stay here for a couple extra days. And you're like, oh shit, that sucks. And sometimes you'd have to send a guy back, you know, to see what the aircraft status was, you know, new guy up. But most times, man, they'd tell you like, yeah, it's probably going to take like 3-4 days. So go get hotels and we'll give you guys a call. And like, yeah, fuck yeah. So in that sense, man, flying the military aircraft was always just the deal. Like one time we got stuck in, I guess like the Huckleberry grinder really did break once. And we got stuck in Australia for 2 weeks. 2 fucking weeks. And it was a real downer. In some ways, it was a downer because we were, I'm just not going to say where. But we were in Australia and we were in a pretty major city. And it was super cool, man. It was a real good time. Like people were really cool. And this was like, I was in my 20s. So, you know, life revolved around like drinking and chasing ass. But, you know, you're out there, you're hanging out. It's always nice outside. The people are cool. The scenery's cool. They didn't have the diversity that we have now, so things weren't all fucked up yet. I was like, dude, this is a bit of all right here, you know? And then we go and we get on the aircraft and we took off and the guys are like, hey, the Huckleberry grinder's fucked up. We got to land in, you know, wherever the fuck. So we landed in some other town. And it was a much smaller town. This was a fucking trip. It was a much smaller town. And we get off the plane. We go check into hotels. And all of us were kind of like, well, this is how fucking spoiled we were. We're like, well, this is kind of bullshit, dude. Like, I was having a really good time in big town. Now I'm stuck in small town Australia. Like, I'm pissed now. But yeah, that's how fucking spoiled you are. But we go and get hotels. And we're hanging out like, all right, man, let's figure out where we're going to get lunch, where we're going to go drinking, what are we doing? And we go out and we go and get something at lunch. And this waitress is like, oh, you lot with the ship? And we're like, ship? What ship? What are you fucking talking about? She's like, oh, with the Navy ship. We're like, Navy ship? What are you talking about? And she's like, God, there's a ship in town. I'm like, I haven't seen no ship. I don't know anything about that. And we finish lunch and we get up, we go around the corner and like, there they are, man. Like you can recognize these fuckers. If you've never been in or around like a Navy scene, these poor bastards, dude, these people that live on these ships, like they're pasty, they're scrawny, they're poorly paid, they're poorly dressed, and you look and you're just like, what the fuck is this? And there's just a line of them, man, at this ATM waiting to get cash out, and we're like, oh, fuck. So you're in this little backpack town, man, and like, you know, we're thinking like, we just came from a real cool scene, and now we're in this small backpack town. Like, all right, let's try to have a nice time. And now you look at it, it's like there's a bunch of Navy dudes in town. We're like, what is this shit? So it was kind of a downer, man, and it really it's just weird, dude. It really has a way of pissing all over an otherwise decent week or two. You know, it's someplace cool. But yeah, I digress as per. So, yeah, man, traveling, I did travel a lot, man, and that means planes, trains, automobiles, hotels, motels, Holiday Inn. And I will tell you, man, to work effectively on the road, like, you gotta look at this shit as, like, you gotta look at this as, like, normal life, dude. You gotta be able to make this your normal life and do the normal shit that you normally do. And the only thing that's different is that you got to do it in different places. All right, because I've seen, like, you do see this. I see this now where, you know, if I'm around, like, executives that travel a lot, or even, you know, with some of our guys where we're traveling, you do see it where people start looking at it as, like, oh, yeah, like, it's just this little one-off. I just got to do this little trip. I got to do this trip. It's like a hiccup in my everyday life. Like, no, dude, you got to look at this as your everyday fucking life. Because what you'll do is you'll see guys start skimping on things like how much sleep they're getting, how they're taking care of themselves, the kind of stress they're putting themselves under, and especially the way you eat. So all this kind of stuff, man, things like, I think the one that gets overlooked the easiest really is the stress that you're putting yourself under. So when you've got some shit like, bro, I got to get to the airport, and like if some idiot's head explodes on the freeway, now that's you like, oh fuck, and you're jumping through your ass to get through traffic, you're hustling, you're dodging, you're fucking running through the airport like O.J. Simpson, looking for his lost glove or whatever. And that's not a way to fucking live, man. You go through there, you get to the fucking rental car and like, I got to get out to wherever I'm supposed to be. And like, you're hustling, you're hauling ass. It's not a way to live, dude. You can't fucking live that way. Like, imagine if you were, working, say, if you got an office job or any kind of job. If you're in school, man, and you show up to school every day, if you lived your life like, say you got to be there at 8 in the morning. If you lived your life where like you get up at 7 and like if I haul ass through the shower and I throw breakfast down my throat and I go and I jump in the car and I speed and I like cut all the corners and take little shortcuts through neighborhoods and shit, and you can come screeching in right at the fucking stroke of 8, it's like, dude, that's not a way to fucking live, man. You're gonna burn yourself out. You're gonna be fucking miserable. So knowing you wouldn't do that in regular life, doing that shit, day to day, is not a way to get by. All right, talking about diet then, again, it's really, really easy when you're on the road to be like, man, I just got to get something, I got to grab something, and I got to, just survive until I get through this leg of this trip or till I get where I'm trying to go. And it's super easy to just reach for these like processed foods, snacks, fucking chips, garbage, dude. It's just fucking garbage. And the way that I kind of get around that is like it takes some white man's agency, dude. You got to plan ahead a little bit, but you could throw some shit into a bag. And there's a lot of, like, I've seen it at airports where they'll say like, no snacks through security. I've never, ever been stopped or seen anybody stopped and had their snacks confiscated. So for me, some of the snacks that I fucking wake up, guy. Yeah, please go right ahead. Yeah, fucking walk right into traffic. I won't run you over. It's only a fucking car. Fucking retard. I've never seen anybody get stopped and have their snacks taken. So the way I do it, man, is like I don't like carrying a ton of shit through the airport or, on the road or any of this kind of shit. I like having it where I'm kind of traveling light, but I also don't want to eat trash. So the way I do it, man, I'll go to the store and I'll buy like some nice snacks, get like some nice jerkies, get some nuts, get some dried fruit. Trying to like read the shit that you're getting too, man, because like you're trying to get stuff that's gonna last, but look at the fucking label and see how many chemicals are in this shit, because there are like some decent jerkies out there that are gonna last a while that don't have a ton of shit in them. And there's some, like, you can get some nice high-end nuts. Some of these nuts, eat these nuts, put them in your mouth. And you can get these nuts, and you can get some dried fruits, some pineapple, some mango, whatever the fuck, man, whatever you're into. Throw that shit in a bag, just shake it up, and off you go. But yeah, you can snack this shit the whole time you're in there, the whole time you're at the airport. And I mean, I know it's like a huge draw, man. When you go to the airport, there's nothing else to fucking do except eat. And you walk around and it's just snacks. Like, eat this fucking snack. Dude, like, you gotta resist it, dude, because that is shit food. Like, if you're putting out at all, you're working out at all, you're trying to watch some diet, like, you walk through the fucking airport, man, like, one day in an airport can just shoot that right in the ass. And like, oh God, I feel like I'm gonna fucking die. And I hadn't really thought about it too much, but somebody had said it, and I got to kind of lend some credence to it, that I think they really do kind of load up some of these heavy, dry foods in the airport because they want you, like, not pissing, not shitting. They want you just sit in your fucking seat, ride the fucking airplane, and when you get there, you can do your business on your own time. That's just my conspiracy take where airports are concerned. Apart from that, man, as far as airport specific goes, I will say, I'd said it once before on one of these, I don't know, it might have been a long time ago. Dude, I will recommend 1,000 times, man, get the little things that make shit easier. The little things at the fucking airport. The pre-check shit, if you can get that, man, get it. The lounges, if you can get that shit, get it. Because, dude, I have been in and out of airports nonstop for like, dude, it's got to be approaching 25 years, man. 25 fucking years of being in and out of airports at a steady fucking clip. And somehow, every time I go, there's still some jamoke that's like it's his first fucking day at the airport. I even see like entire families. Like, dude, I got stuck behind a Canadian family trying to go through security once. And it was like, you'd never been to an airport before. Like, you're not even sure you're there on the right day. Like, your luggage is overweight. You don't have your papers straight. Nobody knows whose ID is where. Like, oh, what do I have to have for the kids? Oh, honey, let me hold your teddy bear and this shit and so on and so on. And I'm like, Christ almighty, just get through the fucking line, man. And I appreciate that trying to do anything with kids is always going to be a catastrophic pain in the ass. But, I mean, prep yourself a little bit, lady. You know? Like, don't have the kid carrying 3 fucking toys and some giant metal fucking robot and, you know, 3 backpacks and they're all fucking unzipped and shit strung all over the place. And you got to unfuck your luggage because you packed too much shit and it weighs too much. And, like, come fucking on, dude. But it's constant. It's every time. It's the big wacky families. It's Indians, dude. Indians and old people. Like, motherfucker, I know that metal detectors have been around for a good long while. Like, don't fucking come with your fucking belt. Christ, take your fucking belt off, guy. You know, every fucking time I'm there, dude, I see somebody doing this. Oh, I think it might be my belt. No shit. It's either that or the metal plate in your fucking head. But that shit heats me like no other. Anyway, I digress. Again, point is, any of those little items, man, and if you don't travel, you know, through airports, I'll try to come to some of the other items here forthwith. But specific to airports, because as you know, that's where I spend so much of my time. Dude, those little things will make life so much easier, dude. If you get the pre-check, if you can get into some of these lounges, it makes life so much fucking easier. So in terms of scoring that shit, there is a gaggle of different credit cards that will give you this shit for free. Like, you could, like anything in an airport, you could fucking buy it, right? Like, you can buy memberships to these lounges. You could buy, you know, fucking TSA pre-check, all this shit. But there's credit cards that will reimburse you for this shit. So I know American Express has some. I know there's a few that, like, you have to look it up, dude, and see, like, which ones have what you want and which ones are not going to charge you an arm and a leg for it. So, I mean, I'll also tell you, like, don't think that these motherfuckers haven't thought this shit through, right? Because it's a credit card anyway, and they're always going to try to bang you up with a credit card. But what you'll see is, like, I mean, obviously I travel a lot, so this shit pays for me. But there's some credit cards like Amex, American Express specifically, where they'll give you complimentary lounge access. All right, so they'll give you this stuff for free. The rub, though, is that you have to pay like a membership fee of some sort every year. Sometimes that can be like $700 a year for some of these fucking things. So you got to look at like which ones have what I want and which ones are going to give me the shit that I could use. So Amex has one that's like the platinum card. They have like a gold card that does, and also too, like, I ain't sponsored by any of this shit. Again, like, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I don't get free anything from anyone for any reason. I'm just telling you the shit that I've used. But the Amex has like a platinum, and that's like $700 a year. They have a gold, and I don't know what all that gives you. I think it gives you better like turnover on miles, and I think it gives you free TSA pre-check screening along with global entry, and I think that's like pre-check for international travel. Like, I haven't gotten that yet because I haven't done that much international stuff. I mean, not in this life anyway. But there's some other ones that you just got to look at it, dude. There's some different ones like through either Amex or Chase or I think fucking MasterCard. And then each airline also will have their own specific kind. You know, so like if you always fly Southwest, or you always fly Delta, or you always fly, if you've got a fucking favorite, whatever, there'll be ones that are like, yeah, we'll give you status on this airline, and we'll give you this many free miles, and we'll give you club access, or fucking whatever. So for instance, like Delta, like me, I have like literally every fucking credit card for every airline because I'm fucking always there. And what's cool then is like pretty much every one of them. So like Delta, if I fly Delta, then I got my Delta credit card. I buy fucking like if I check my luggage in, I use that credit card, and it'll just give me that money back. It'll be like, yeah, you get free luggage with this fucking thing. It'll give you like free club access. So if I'm like, yeah, dude, I just want to go sit in the club, then I just go in there and like, yeah, I just scan boarding pass, and like there, you get to come in here for free, easy day. So if you've got a favorite, then it can be worth your while. And depending on what kind of travel you do, if you do a gig where like you're always doing rental car or that kind of shit, do they have, well, first they have the deal where like it's just like an airline, like you get a little membership number or a frequent renter number or whatever the hell, and now you always rent through this agency, you know, fucking Avis or Hertz or what the fuck ever. And eventually like that'll give you some status where they've got it with some, and with us sometimes it just depends on the client, where like you just walk out there and get a fucking car. Like they'll have like a row of nice cars, and you just walk out there, the keys are in it, you just fucking take the thing, you just give the little barcode, and now you take off and you're good to go. That's like, that kind of shit is just super nice, dude. So as opposed to sitting in line, dude, I think lines at the rental car place are worse than lines in the airport, because people don't rent cars that often. So it's even more fucked up, where people are like, so I have what options now? And you need what from me? Okay, well, how does this work? And how does that work? And what about toll roads? And like, dude, somebody kill me, dude. It's murder. So again, it's like one of these little things that just makes your life easier. As far as hotels, dude, again, the same thing. I would say pick a brand and try to stick with that. You don't always find every hotel brand in every city. I've been using a lot of Marriott for a good while, and I mean, Marriott, I guess, it's a Mormon outfit. One that's good, I guess, in the sense that, you know, it's not Tiny Hat. But they give status pretty quick. The points with that organization are easy to use, super easy to use. I don't know if you've ever tried to redeem airline points, but that can be a fucking nightmare, where it's like, oh, well, no, bro, see, you can't use it on this day, and it's like a minimum price, and you also have to pay a minimum of this much. So do you want to like apply this $50 in points towards whatever? And you're like, just forget it. But the points thing with Marriott is actually really easy to use. So you can legit, like, and again, I don't get sponsored, I don't get shit for saying this, it's just something I've used. You pretty much just go on the app, and like, I'm in whatever the fuck city, I need a place to stay, and you scroll through there, and like, there's one, like, show me how much it costs in points. Like, it's this much. Do you want to use it? Yes. Here, boom. And then you go check in, and they're like, oh, okay, you're using points? Yes. And that's it. Now you go to your room just like normal. Tricks of the trade with hotels. I mean, that one is obvious. Like, when you get status, like it makes life a little bit easier. But what you can do is call ahead. Because like, if you make your own reservation, then like, it'll already know, like, I have status with whatever the fuck, Hilton, right? And now I make a reservation, or I get online, make a reservation with Hilton, and now it's already going to know, like, here's fucking Coffee again, and he's got, you know, whatever the fuck they're calling it, like Silver Ambassador status, or fucking Black Bishop fucking status, whatever the fuck, right? And now you show up there, and they'll already know, and so a lot of times they'll give you like a complimentary upgrade if you have like some legit status, like if you've been there for a while. Again, with hotels, they have the same deal, a lot of these places, where they'll have credit cards that are attached to these hotel accounts. A lot of these don't cost anything. So the ones that I have, I'm not going to tell you, but The ones that I have are like, it's just like a normal credit card. So like if you were going to get like a Visa, like you don't just have fucking Visa, like you have a Visa that's attached to like Southwest Airlines or fucking Delta or Hilton or whatever, right? And now when you like, if you make that reservation, use this card, they're going to like, sometimes just having the card, it'll give you complimentary status. So like you say you got like fucking Hyatt, right? You got Hyatt, and it'll just like, boom, here you got some status. You got like basic bitch tier status, but you're not like nobody walking in there. So a lot of times you walk in there, like you make the reservation with that card, and it'll like give you an automatic upgrade. So you walk in there, and now your life's not quite so miserable. Like you're not getting a fucking room next to the elevator. You're not getting a room, you know, because a lot of times too, they'll put, depending on where you stay, like I've been in some hotels, like Atlanta especially, dude. Atlanta is a motherfucker because like on the weekends, Soul Brother, he out there and he in town. And if he in town for the game or some kind of shit, like the lower floors on every hotel will reek like fucking weed. And it will be on like fucking Voltron till 3 or 4 in the fucking morning every goddamn time. So if you're in one of these places like on a fucking Friday or Saturday, that it's like, I have status, I want a high level room, I want something at the end of the fucking hall, I don't want, you know, this basic bitch tier situation. This sucks. And places like that, dude, I try to get higher floors, like not always because it's like a better quality of room, usually it's the same fucking thing, and all you're really having to do is wait longer for the elevator. But places like Atlanta, places like LA, if you're at a higher floor, now you're not going to hear all the racket going on in the street. I got stuck at, dude, what was it? I want to say a Hyatt maybe in Atlanta. And it was such a pisser, dude, because it was a historic building. Like it was a really old building. And in the rooms and in the hallways, like in the hallways, they'd have pictures of like back in the day and like ladies with hoop skirts and gentlemen with handlebar mustaches and horses and carriages and the whole deal. And in the room they'd have like a little something about the city and how it used to be and this kind of shit. And you look at it and you're like, wow, that looks like it was pretty fucking sweet. And now you look out, like this case, I look out the window and I was literally watching an episode of Cops, man. I'm watching a bunch of homeless coloreds. I'm watching this, what the hell was it, dude? There's this dude, this ghetto pigeon, and he's got this wife beater on, and he's going by this woman and she kid, this woman and she baby. And they're out there at like 11 o'clock midnight out in the fucking street making fucking racket. And he's going by there and she's got this shopping bag with something in it. And he going by there and he's like a fucking dog, like going by just trying to like nip at it and get it away from her. And he finally gets a hold of it and he like smacks her a couple times and takes her shopping bag from her. So she just like leaves her kid. The kid's got to be like 2 or 3, just kind of bobbling on the sidewalk, takes a fucking belt off and just starts going to town on this fucking guy, just whacking the shit out of this fucking guy, taking she bag back. I don't even know what was in it. It was probably garbage. Who knows? Garbage, dirty laundry, some weed, just whacking the shit out of this fucking guy. And I'm like, this is everything Confederate soldiers were fighting to prevent. I'm sorry, I'm sorry it didn't work out, fellas. I wish it had. But yeah, so that's why I try to go for the higher floors, especially in those kind of shitty locations. As far as eating in and around town, man, I try not to eat in hotels unless I have to, because it's always fucking marked up. It's always marked up and it's always shitty. And if it's a buffet, it is going to be ass. You can pretty much guarantee that. The little fucking breakfast buffet thing, the continental breakfast, like you leaving a broke ass Yoplait out for me and like some toast you toasted yesterday and some frozen ass butter. I'm not interested in this. This is not a fucking breakfast. So when you see these deals that are like free complimentary breakfast, like it always fucking sucks. And plus, I've been to some of these places where you don't know what, I mean, like, look at the help, dude. Look at the fucking help. These are the people handling your food. You don't know what the fuck they're doing back there. So, give it some thought. As far as finding good places, I mean, that's where like the my smartphone does come in handy, because you can get on there and look around. And in that sense, I would recommend like do this shit the night before you're standing there fucking starving, and like, where can I go to get something halfway decent to eat? You know, because what you don't want is to walk outside and like, dude, Philadelphia, if you will. I did a thing there once, and dude, this was such a trip. I was there, and I can't even remember what I was fucking doing. I was working at like a college, I think, doing a thing at a college there, and they put us at this hotel, and this was like a pretty nice fucking school, right? And they put us at this hotel, and it's a pretty nice hotel, and we go in there to check in, and you look over there. I don't remember what kind of hotel it was. It was, I want to say like a Hilton, or so. It was something pretty nice. It was pretty decent, whatever it was. And you could see that they had like a nice buffet set out. But now you go to check in, and this Orthodox motherfucker, I shit you not, I am not lying. If I am lying, I am dying. This dude in this tiny hat, and the fucking doodad, the little whatever rape rug they got around their waist there with the tassels hanging out there, oh God, like just fucking pop, like just jumps right in front of me and is like, excuse me, do I need to have a ticket for the buffet? Do I need a ticket? You didn't give me a ticket when I checked in, and I need to know if I have a ticket, if this is going to be charged to my room, because if it is, I don't want it to be charged. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is this shit? Get the fuck out of here. I'm like, hey man, when you're done fucking around, is it right if I check in? I mean, every fucking stereotype, it's like every fucking stereotype is there for a reason, man. It's like nobody hears about the loud in public, overbearing Asian kid, right? Because it doesn't fucking happen. You could try your ass off to spread that fucking rumor, like, Asians, how they suck at math, right? Oh yeah, I know, black people, how they're quiet in the movies. Yeah, they tend to get beat up a lot because they never put up a fight. Yeah, okay, right? You could try your ass off to spread these rumors, but it ain't fucking happening, friend. Like, nobody's gonna buy it because it's the complete opposite of the truth. Like, these stereotypes, man, and especially with this tiny hat crowd, dude, that was one of the first times that it hit me like a fucking freight train. They're like, holy shit, like, these people really are exactly as advertised. But, so yeah, we did this thing at this hotel, and there was like a whole room full of them. I don't know what they were doing. Like, I don't know, having a fucking grappling or some kind of shit. Doing a thing where they all stand on a table and they bounce around. Oh God, we're going to rape your fucking economy. This is hilarious. But, yeah, so anyway, point was, depending where you are, like, Philadelphia or Buffalo, the exact same thing, you can get put in a place that's pretty fucking nice. And you go outside, if you walk 2 blocks, like, you might be having to dress a wound, right? You might end up with a hole where you had no holes before. So get a look at where you are, like, kind of before you go. Take a look at the weather, depending on the season, because it could be hot as fuck and it could be cold as fuck. And you're like, oh shit, I don't want to walk anywhere. Like New York, dude, I thought I was going to fucking die, man. Or no, worse, Providence, Rhode Island. Do not want. How the fuck? I mean, if you were a pilgrim, if I was a pilgrim, I would have got to New England and been like 1 year in, I'd be like, yeah, fuck this. I'll take my chances. I'll take my chances in a fucking rowboat. I'm going back. This place fucking sucks. I have never been that cold in my whole fucking life, dude. I thought the world was ending. So yeah, and then like you just trying to walk down the street is like, zzz, 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 fall and bust your ass. Do not want. So other than that, man, what, life on the road. I guess the only other thing I would say is that when you get out and about, dude, if you get a minute to go out and see the sights. Oh, well, no, before I get to that, some of these little programs that I'm talking about, these penny pinching programs, these fucking status programs or whatever, some of these will, they have kind of a partnering deal where, like, if you've got, I don't know, fucking United Airlines or something, if you link your like Avis car account to it or some kind of shit, you got to go through the app and look for it. But if you link like one thing to another, or like the airline to the hotel or the hotel to the rental car, a lot of these will link up and they'll just give you like automatic status. So where you might have had to get like a credit card and try to get some fucking status with this organization, this will just give it to you automatically. And then every time you use this card, say like your fucking Southwest card, and you book through Hertz or whatever, or you stay at Marriott or whatever, sometimes it'll like, yeah, we're going to give you automatic status. You're going to get some extra points or extra, whatever the fuck. And it just makes life a little bit easier, just marginally easier. So as compared to like going to the airport, standing in the long fucking line behind the family from Canada, sitting in Gen Pop, just waiting, and then you're the last motherfucker to get on the plane, trying to find. And here's the other thing that drives me nuts getting on the plane was motherfuckers who will put their shit in the overhead, like way at the beginning of the plane, and they sit in the fucking back. And they're like, yeah, now I ain't got to carry it all the way back there. Like, yeah, well, now where am I going to put my shit? So now the person sitting in the front has to go all the way to the back of the plane and put their shit. So now that guy that's sitting in the front, he's got to sit there and wait till the whole fucking plane gets off, or try to weasel dick his way back through the plane as people are getting off to get his shit so he could walk back forward past where his seat was because some other asshole put their shit above his seat. But you usually only see that among the diverse population. I see that a lot, and it makes me fucking nuts. Anyway, what I was getting to was if you have a chance to get out and about in places that are not familiar to you, like you're on the road, hey, I'm going to go out, I'm going to see the sights, whatever. If you're like at some hotel or you're staying some kind of a place and you look up and like, yeah, I want to go get a drink or I want to go to a restaurant, whatever, and you see this place, oh, here's a place, it looks fucking cool. There's nothing wrong with like a quick Google map of like what's between here and there, man. Like, what does this neighborhood look like? Because you can get on Google Map and just like, like here I am right in the neighborhood and look around. All right. And if it looks like Ghetto Pigeon Deluxe, like don't go over there. Like find something close by. All right. Watch what fucking neighborhoods you walk through. And then especially specific, and this was like a lesson that we'd all have to learn being overseas, is like just because it's your first time in a place doesn't mean it's everybody else's first time in a place. And you don't know what kind of shit you're walking into. You don't know what kind of place this is, what kind of people hang out here. Dude, when I was still active, and it used to be, I had mentioned like this thing with the strippers, right? I'd mentioned that before, that it was always like, it got to a point where like dudes are looking for like, where's the strip clubs, dude? Because there's almost always, there would be like a drink special early on or a place to get dinner, and it's just a nice time, ha ha, hooray. And you're probably not going to be in a fight because they keep those places so locked down. So dudes would be like, you get into town and there's always a few guys that are like, where's the strip clubs, bro? And sometimes they would be just, a shithole, so nobody's going there. But sometimes it'd look like, yeah, this place looks like, dude, Reno, Nevada. You can get a 5-star meal at a strip club there. That's something special. I mean, I would almost recommend that even now. But the takeaway here, though, is watch what kind of place you're walking into. Because what I was getting at here is we went into one place specifically in Kentucky, and we were doing some training, and we get put up at this hotel. And now you look right across the street, and there's a strip club, and there's lots of cars in the parking lot, and it's got like, I can't remember what it was advertising, like some kind of fucking dinner or happy hour or something. And I was like, look at this fucking place. And this guy I worked with was like, he looks at it and he's like, I'm not sure what's going on in there. I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? And he's like, well, look at how it's mapped out. And I was like, I don't understand what you mean. And he's like, look, let's go over there. I'll show you what I mean. And we walk in this place, and we walk in, and there's like one kind of chubby chick in a tank top sitting on the stage, just sitting there. There's nobody else in the building. There's one guy sitting down behind the bar. And this was like back before a lot of people, before everybody had cell phones. So people are just kind of sitting there. Like, and there's like one guy bullshitting with this chick on the stage. There's one guy behind the bar just kind of hanging out there. And we walk in, and suddenly everybody's like, what? Like, holy shit, what are you doing in here? And I look around and I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, this is what I thought, dude. He's like, let's get the fuck out of here. So we leave, and I said, what the fuck was that, dude? I was like, how the fuck did you know that was whatever that is? He goes, yeah, this is a place to move stolen merchandise. So it comes through here, it stops here, someone comes and picks it up. It's like a halfway house. He's like, I could tell because, and this guy was like, this guy had a reputation for this kind of a background, and he had, knowledge of these things. But he's like, look at the cars in the parking lot, dude. They're all fucking dusty. Look at the fucking windshields. Like, these cars haven't been driven in a little while. All of them. and there's a lot of cars in the parking lot. And he's like, it's not like fucking 11 o'clock on a fucking Friday. Like, why in the wide world of sports would there be a fuck ton of cars at a strip club? Like, there's never a reason for that. But look at them all. Like, none of these cars have been driven in a while. Like, most of these are probably stolen, or they're being sold for parts, or this is like a stopover to hand over stuff that's actually in the cars. So we don't need to be here while that shit's going on. And he's like, second, look at the structure of the building. He's like, this part is all like lit up, and this is all like, come in here, dancing girls, fucking happy hour, whatever, da-da-da-da-da. So look at the rest of the fucking building. What do you think goes on back there, dude? He's like, this is not like what a club is shaped like. It was like something that looked like kind of a box, but then in the back is like, you know, a much larger, what looks more like warehouse type product. He's like, that back there, what the fuck goes on back there? What do you think, that's all dressing room? He's like, no, that's all stolen goods. It's all stolen goods, and who the fuck knows what else goes on back there? Maybe there's hooking going on back there. Who the fuck knows? But if you don't have an eye for this sort of thing, which at the time I did not, it's like, oh, fuck. So, I mean, as a dumbass, you could almost walk into a place like this and like, hey, what's up, everybody? And then like you just sit there and they're going to get more and more pissed, and then maybe something bad happens and you're like, what'd I do wrong? So just kind of keep an eye out and know that there's shady shit going on that maybe you don't completely know about. So anyway, I figured to wrap it up, speaking of shady shit, well, no, we don't even need to get into shady shit, man. We can do that next time. So I had a chance to talk with, I can't remember what the name the dude was using the last time I saw him, so we'll just call him our man in Maine, right? But I had our man in Maine on a little while back, and this was a good while back, a good many episodes, a good many abusive hours. And this dude, we discussed the woman question a little bit, and, you know, some relationship dynamics and this sort of thing. But I talked to him the other day, and that was a nice catch up. But he's still up in Maine, and for a while a big selling point of Maine was, like most of the Northeast, it's more white than just about anywhere else, and it's, you know, thereby much safer than just about anywhere else. But I talked to this dude, and he's like, man, you wouldn't believe it. Like, you come up here, you're willing to freeze your ass off, and then they're trucking in Somalians by the boatload. Like, they're just dragging these fuckers in here. Like, I'm sorry, that sucks. Like, you got to be cold and diversified. Like, that's not a very good deal. But yeah, I talked to him for a little while, and he had some good observations, and it kind of goes along with some other observations that I had seen in regards to our thing. And on one hand, I want to kind of direct attention to this thing of the money question. If I don't know how else to fucking say it. Like, on one hand, the money question. You know, I hear a lot of talk where it's like, yeah, these motherfuckers are grifters, those motherfuckers are grifters. Like, you don't need a lot of fucking money to do this shit. Yes and no, dude. I will say that, I mean, that's how almost everything in America gets done. Like, you ain't getting your fucking name in the paper, you know, for free, dude. You have to buy fucking space. You ain't gonna get this or that thing done without buying fucking space. Have there been guys in our thing that ended up with more money than they probably should have and didn't know what to do with it and managed it very, very poorly? Yeah, I think you could say that almost definitely. To that, I would kind of go back to what I had kind of mentioned as the NJP thing fell apart, that it's okay to be outside your wheelhouse, man. Like, if there's guys that are really fucking good at talking on the radio or whatever the fuck, or guys that are really good at developing ProMat, or really good at developing visual media or short videos or clips or memes or fucking whatever it is, man. If you've got something you're really good at, cool. But the idea that somebody is going to be good at that shit and then you put a bunch of money in their hand and they're going to be able to do the same kind of shit with it that, like, some Republican operative or some Democratic operative or some pro-immigrant Hebrew operative is going to be able to do, that's an unreasonable expectation. So, you know, where we say, bro, you should be able to do whatever you're doing without coughing up money, you know, without anybody giving you anything, I'm going to say not necessarily, dude. I mean, somebody that's doing this shit as a job, I mean, clearly that's not me, because I'm a portrait of unprofessionality. Unprofessionality? Can I say this? Is this a thing? Anyway. But, yeah, I mean, if a guy's doing this shit professionally and trying to look out, in a way for you and your long-term interests, I don't really see a problem with giving the guy money. Maybe he does need some help. Maybe he needs to be pimped a little bit. Like, look, man, take whatever you've got, get something done. It ain't got to be goddamn brilliant, but fuck it. Print fucking flyers that you leave in gas station bathrooms. Do something with this money. Like, get something accomplished, right? On the other side of the coin, though, and this is what I was talking to our man in Maine about, is that we do have kind of an issue of kind of being stuck in this circular circle jerk where guys are just like, I talk a little bit. I don't even talk to people that I'm sharing new information with. I just kind of talk in a circle and I talk about how fucked up things are. And from there, I'm not talking about anything else. Right? And that kind of thing, man, it just sucks in a very weak kind of person. It gives somebody, and I hate to disagree with some of these turds that will just say, oh, you're like a pro-white type dude. Well, that's just because you want to blame your problems on somebody else. Like I've said before, dude, I don't especially have problems. Like my life ain't fucked up. My life's pretty good. I'm just noticing the fucking obvious and trying to direct attention to it. But I will say that, sadly, there are guys that are like, yeah, my life is a shit show and it needs to be somebody else's fault. That, to me, my friend, is weak sauce. And if you feel attacked, if you feel a little bit of a tap on your shoulder when I'm saying that, then I'm sorry, man. Then you're the guy I'm talking to. If that's not you, okay. Well, then that also means that it's kind of on you to like, hey, help identify some of these people that might be and start steering them the right direction. So in terms of the steering the right direction, I wanted to offer something that I had seen the other day, and I thought it was cool. I thought I'd pass it along. And I was talking to this dude about like calisthenic, like prison style workouts, and he sent me this video, and I got to see if I could find it so I could put it in the chat. But it's this dude that I guess had done some time, and it's kind of funny because like you see the guy talking, and he ain't that fucking bright. I think he's a white dude. I don't think he's in any way our guy. He's just some guy who was locked up for a while, but he ain't that fucking sharp, but he's fucking jacked. And he's talking about like, you get in there and you start realizing like, I got to get in shape, man. I got to be able to defend myself. And I'm looking at these guys working out, man. And all you can do, man, is calisthenics, jailhouse workouts, And I see him doing these little half reps, man. And I lifted before and I saw him and I was like, ha, you wasting your time, man. With them little half reps, you're not even getting that full range of motion, man. But after a few months, I see they're making gains, and I think, maybe they're on to something. But he's talking through the idea of all this. And what he essentially is imparting is the idea that when you're doing half reps, and if you've ever seen this, like you look at any kind of video of like jailhouse workouts or whatever, and you'll notice guys doing this. They're not doing like a full range of motion. They're doing like these little, what looks like jerky little half reps. And the way this guy explains it is that, like, according to this logic, and I ain't a fucking kinesiologist and I ain't no personal trainer or whatever, so if this is all fucked up, then do feel free to let me know. But what this guy is talking about is that when you do a full range of motion, especially like a compound exercise, like say a push-up, right? Like you're shifting from like as you're at the bottom of the rep, right? You're hitting a different part of your chest, and as you start to move to the top, now it's going to isolate a little bit more towards the middle of the chest, and you're going to bring in more triceps, maybe a little less shoulders, but it's going to shift through all these different muscle groups throughout the range of that single repetition. What this guy's talking about then is if you isolate to that much smaller piece of the rep. So if you were doing like all the way down close to the ground, and then you're just coming up just a few inches, just enough to like get a little bit of a flex in that muscle, right? The real short, choppy movements. And now you're going to do way more reps than you would be able to do through a full range of motion. Like, let's say hypothetically, you could do 10 push-ups, 10 full range of motion push-ups. If you're doing it like this, you're going to get like 20, like these little short, choppy push-ups. But that one part of that muscle, that one piece, right, of that muscle group is going to get worked like 20 reps now without the rest that would come with you being at the top of the rep where it's not working so hard. So boom, 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 boom. I'm getting like 20 reps. It hits this part of the muscle really hard. And now I come up to like the top of the rep where it's going to be mostly like the center of the chest and triceps and just smaller movements there. Like boom, 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 boom. And now you're getting like much more reps than you would have got again. You know, like where you were going to get 10, maybe you're getting 20 now. And it's a much shorter movement, but you're getting a lot more pump through there, and you're getting a lot more blood moving in and out of the muscle, and thereby, I guess the logic is that you will get a greater increase in muscle size and strength. So this to me it makes sense. I've tried it out for a little bit. I'm kind of still waiting to see how it's going to play out, but the logic is there. I mean, I've heard ideas that a lot of what you see, like just your average workouts, a lot of that, there's some laziness involved where like guys that get on the juice, and dude, I did a cycle a long time ago, and I will tell you, like, I was getting shitty workouts and had a shitty diet just through the course of, you know, my work at the time, and still I was fucking jacked with that shit. Like, I looked like a different fucking species. Like, next to some dude that just, like, works out regularly. Like, holy shit, dude. Look at this fucking guy. Like, you're a very much different animal. But being able to do that, it takes away from that ability to, you know, I guess what you would see in a prison. Like, that ability to innovate and connive and cut it real smooth and find some kind of a way that, like, I'm going to like hack this fucking system and make this thing do something it shouldn't ordinarily do. And, you know, maybe that's the way that this works. But in any case, man, yeah, I'm going to try it out. But, you know, it's something you could try out, stick in your repertoire and see what you could figure out. But it kind of goes hand in hand, I think, with some of the other stuff that I had read lately where guys are talking about like, no, man, we're not doing, you know, guys are talking about, I like a 3 rep range, a 3 to 5 rep range. Or me, I like the 69, bro, like 6 to 9 reps. And if you're going up to 15, man, now you're really working more like a cardiovascular angle and this kind of a thing. Some of the stuff I had seen was like, instead of going for reps where guys are going for time, like I want to see time under tension. So in that sense, I could say, yeah, dudes definitely get lazy. Where like if you were doing, say, squats, like a guy does 1 rep and then, you know, finishes a rep and then is stopped at the top and is just standing there like, okay, ready, let's get another. Like, no, dude, you're not working that muscle that whole time you're fucking standing there. Whereas if you're like, you know, you're all the way at the bottom of that squat and like, and like just grinding out like half squats, and you do, you know, you're down there for like, what was the last thing I put out? Like 35 seconds to a minute? Dude, you're going to come off of that and you're going to know you were doing squats, dude. You're going to be the first to know. But in any case, that's just a little food for thought, a little something you could try out. And if you're not in shape, man, if you're not out there hustling, dude, you need to be. You need to be. It's getting dodgy out there. I didn't even get into some of the stuff that's been going on out there. I think I'll try to get another episode out soon and talk a little bit about what could be coming down the pipe. I got to get some more information on what appears to be some laws against speaking anti-Semitism that might be coming down the road, and we'll want to get out in front of that and make people aware. But I got to get more information on it, like I said, before I run my mouth on it. So in any case, I think I want to start trying to put out some kind of a weekly challenge kind of a thing that like, hey man, try this shit this week, right? So I think for this week, try out this half rep range kind of shit, see what you think. Like try some of these shorter reps, see if you get a little bit of a different pump, if you feel any kind of a gain. If you're not working out at all, then this is a fine place to start, right? Do something. Do something that's a little more than listening to me complain all day, because when I get done with this, I'm going to get a workout, all right? But until next time, man, you feel free to leave this shit where somebody can find it, where somebody can pick it up, where somebody can adopt these ideas and look at you as an example. Because the world needs more people like us, right? So until next time, keep your eyes on the horizon, keep your neck out of the noose. I've been Coffee. These are my takes.